we're looking at ways to be in conversation and to be in community together, and then to resolve some of our anxieties about what's to come in the neighborhood. When I think of Walnut Hills, there's just a scale of people who live around each other, and I think what I hope to do is to cultivate a scenario where they live with each other. Because it's easy to just condemn folks into a cycle of hopelessness, but it's harder to say, how can I be there for you, and how can I help lift you up? I'm Christina Brown. I'm a 28-year-old Columbus native who moved to Cincinnati to attend the University of Cincinnati, graduated in 2010, and now work for a small nonprofit and reside in Walnut Hills, where I am a resident/board member of the Walnut Hills Redevelopment Foundation. Walnut Hills is a very historical neighborhood. The Harriet Beecher Stowe House is located in Walnut Hills. The Paramount building, which we recently acquired, is located in Walnut Hills. The people who have lived there know about the history of the first Black business district in the city was located in Walnut Hills. One word I like to use is gritty. So if you drive down East McMillan, there's a noticeable change from Kimber to Woodburn. As you start to approach DeSales Corner in East Walnut Hills, it's very polished and very quaint and dainty. But our side is very urban and very gritty, and I think it adds to the character of the neighborhood. So when I think about Walnut Hills, or when I describe it, I think about what I knew the neighborhood to be when I was first introduced to it, and how people thought about Walnut Hills when I said I was going there. There would be a recoil, like, why? Are you safe there? Like, do you know somebody? Or are you sure you're not in East Walnut Hills? So I began to pick up on the perception of what the neighborhood was. And now the connotation of Walnut Hills is changing in terms of how people perceive it. And I think that's a positive thing, but I wonder why that is. So my angst comes from not knowing if people devalue the folks who have always lived there. We know that the buildings are coming up, and we know that there are stores opening, but my $1 million question is do the people who have always lived here feel like it's theirs? There's a lot of elephants in the room in terms of community development. Some folks will say, we need to be the next OTR, and my response is, no, we don't need to be the next OTR. We are Walnut Hills, and we say that with pride because Walnut Hills has always been a beautiful neighborhood. Other folks just may not have known about that. I was thinking about the other day, how in the world did I end up in Walnut Hills? So when I actually had the opportunity to leave Clifton and go explore the neighborhood, I learned about not just the history of Walnut Hills, but about the history of disparity in Cincinnati. My first day at Frederick Douglass, I had the opportunity to arguably tutor or babysit these siblings of 3. So one was in kindergarten, the other was in 2nd grade, and the other was in 4th grade. The 4th grader was really sweet. She was very quiet, didn't get into a lot of trouble, was really the leader of her 2 little brothers, and they didn't enjoy that. So my first duty was to go over her English assignment with her. Her demeanor totally changed when we had to start her English homework. So we're going through her assignment, and I'm like, write your name. She's like, no. I'm like, please write your name. We have an hour to get this done. We can start with writing your name. I don't want you to turn your assignment in blank. She said, no. So I'm like, what? Why? You were just fine. What's wrong? So this completely different person just emerged from the 4th grader that I thought was really awesome. So at this point, she just became defiant, and I had to go tell the site director. I was like, she doesn't want to do her homework. I'm not sure what to do. And it was brought to my attention that she was functionally illiterate. So I said, well, this is my first day, and if it's my first day and other folks know that she's, she can't read, like, what are we doing about that? Because she was so well behaved, people let her avoid assignments just because she was always good with her brothers. And she would get so frustrated that they would say, fine, if you don't want to do it, it's okay. So she became sort of the catalyst of like why I knew I had to be in Walnut Hills, because at first I was really upset at everyone. I'm upset at every teacher that's ever taught you. I'm upset at folks in your family. So I remember after my first day coming back, there's our director's name is Miss A.Y. Nikki Moore Hawkins. I remember coming into her office and I'm like, I'm gonna quit that tutoring job. And she's like, did you just start that yesterday? It's your work study job. No, you're not. No, I am. It's terrible. I can't believe that we have a fourth grader that can't read, and we have children who don't have stable homes. And I just went on some tangent because I was really upset. And she's like, but isn't that why you're there? If you observe these things and you're upset about them, clearly you're passionate. So your passion should drive you to address the issue, not to walk away from it. So she became sort of the catalyst of like why I knew I had to be in Walnut Hills. And thinking about her being the oldest sibling and what it means to grow up with younger siblings and, have housing stability, and you have all these issues, food insecurity. Reading is not a priority to her. Safety is a priority to her. She's one of the reasons why I'm so invested in Walnut Hills, and she's one of the people that I think about when we're making decisions at the Redevelopment Foundation. I think about her and her family, and hopefully they would benefit from the work that we're doing in the neighborhood. Because it's easier to just condemn folks into a cycle of hopelessness, but it's harder to say, how can I be there for you, and how can I help lift you up? Because we have a lot of work to be done, but it can be done.